answer a question, because if that's all you did and no questions, it would be plenty. So we
Yeah.
are just thrilled to have some of the questions answered. But I'm going to start with a question I have, because a lot of us live in New England, and we just had a major snowstorm here.
Oh,
So we've been doing, you know, whether we wanted to or not, shoveling at times to either, you know, being somewhere at work and having to get our car out or whatever. And so, or even our own yards. So what's your take on shoveling? And if it's a necessity, what would you say about how to handle your body posture for that?
well, I've done a lot of shoveling. I grew up in northern New York State. We had blizzards all winter long, below zero temperatures, and so on. So I know that I did a lot of shoveling. I know that they make a shovel that has a it kind of comes across and then down and like that, and it's supposed to be better ergonomically. I've never tried it. The other thing that I would do is try not to, if possible, what we used to do was we used to go out while it was still snowing and shovel some of the snow when it was still light enough to shovel, instead of waiting for the 3 feet of it to try to get that. And even at that, you take a lesser weight. You want to make sure to basically not just use your arms, but use your whole body. So you're pressing into your feet, you're tightening the core muscles, which we didn't really talk about in this, but we do in the practical apps next week. It's hard to fit a lot into an hour. But anyway, did I do an hour? I don't even know. I may be a little bit more than an hour. Yeah, I think I am. So, and to do a little bit at a time and be sure to take rests in between. And then of course, I didn't do this when I was living up there when I was a teenager. I wasn't, I didn't have to do this, but now I've got a shovel. Then what I would do is I would immediately come in my house and I would lie down in decompression and just work those back muscles, because I know that my back is going to be aching. And if anybody has any other ideas about shoveling, of course, and now I know a friend of mine who's probably healthy enough to shoveling, he just bought a snowblower. So I don't know if that's it.
Got it. The other thing I wanted to ask you, and then we have other people that really have great questions. I just wanted to say, I had noticed on one of your videos that you talked about a brace that you really advocate. Yeah, if you could talk about that.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I have that on my list here to talk about. Okay. That's okay. There is, if you have osteoporosis, and of course, it all depends upon the clinical condition, but especially if you've had a compression fracture, there is a brace. It's called the Spinomed, Spinomed, Spinomed orthosis. It's called an orthosis because it's different than every other brace on the market. We call it an active brace because it strengthens rather than weakens the body part that it is designed to protect. It is a brace that was originally manufactured in Germany, and the name of the company here in the States is called MEDI, M-E-D-I, D as in dog, I, USA. And so it's available here in the States, and it was basically designed specifically for the condition of osteoporosis and compression fracture management. It consists of a metal piece that goes up your back, and when it's fit to you, it's fit to the curves of the back, because I've fit a lot of these braces so that you bend it so that it goes right according to your curves. It has a piece that goes around the abdomen that you have a couple of, you bring it around your body and you put it together right in your abdomen, so you've got support of your abdominals. And then it's got a couple of straps that go across the shoulders. I call it to hold the whole thing together. It's had wonderful research in strengthening the back extensor, strengthening the abdominals, improving breathing, improving digestion. I don't know, there are 8 or 9 different things in the that happened in the research, and it's still being researched and the research is still showing the same thing. They did a research on the original Spinomed. They had 300 women with osteoporosis, and I don't know that they all had compression fractures. That I can't tell you. I don't remember that detail. And what they did, they divided them in half. So half of the women were to wear the Spinomed 2 hours a day, an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. And then the other group was not going to wear the Spinomed. They were just going to do a series of exercises or just live their normal lives. I'm not exactly sure about that either. And then they switched roles. The people that were not wearing it were going to wear it. The people that were wearing it were not going to wear it. They were all women. And an interesting thing happened. The women who had been wearing the brace didn't want to give it up. Now, I've been a physical therapist 60 years. I have never had a patient that didn't want to give up a brace. They all want to give up the brace. It's either too heavy, it doesn't fit, doesn't work, doesn't do what it's supposed to, whatever it is, and they're all in the closet. The braces are all in the closet or under the bed or someplace like that. So can I tell my little story about my patient there? Yes,
Sure.
I saw a patient. I had a patient in home care, a 94-year-old man who at the age of 8 had had Pott's disease. That is TB of the spine. So he had had a hyperkyphotic posturing his entire life, or for 86 years. Let me put it that way. So I was seeing him in home care, and I had him lie on a foam roller. You saw a picture of my spine model there on the foam roller. And all of a sudden he said, "Oh, this feels just like a brace ought to feel." And so this light bulb went off in my head. And I said, of course, why are we bracing the front of the body? We should be bracing the back. We should be supporting the back. So I actually visualized this brace, the Spinomed, in my mind. I went to 3 different orthotists. Those are people that make braces. None of them could make me a prototype because they said it wouldn't work. And then I went to an NOF meeting out in Phoenix, or actually Scottsdale, I guess, Arizona. And there was a table there, and it had exactly what I was talking about on the table. So over in Germany, they had made the brace, but of course they had the doctor to design it. They had the researcher to do the research on it. They had the patient population of huge people needing the brace. And of course, they had the money to put into it. So at the same time that I was thinking of doing it here in the States, they were doing it over in Germany, the same thing. So here's a word to all of you. If you get an idea, don't think it's outlandish, follow up. Because somewhere in the universe, somebody else has had the same idea and they're going to beat you to the punch. That's it. But that has been the most successful brace for osteoporosis ever. And I've tried other ones before we got that. And now that is my brace of choice, especially if people have had fractures. Fracture predicts fracture. Once you've had one fracture in your spine, you're at increased risk for more. And I want to get people in the brace right away. No waiting, no 2 weeks. Somebody called me recently and said they had a fracture, and the doctor said, well, we'll wait a couple of weeks and we'll see what we're going to do. I said, wait a couple of weeks? You see that person? No.
That's great.
The sooner you can see it, the better. Does that kind of tell you? Now, if you want more information on the Spinomed, the easiest way to get information on it is to send me an email. Okay, listen up and take a note. You need to put a statement of you want information on the Spinomed. You put your full name, your address, your email contact, and your phone contact. Send it to me, jharrison2@earthlink.net, and I will forward it on to the orthopedic head of Medi USA, and you will hear from him or his rep within 2 weeks.
That's great. Go ahead and take it away. I know we've pre-given you questions, Sara.
Okay. Well, do you want me to talk about the Miradyne?
Sure.
The Miradyne is a vibration unit. Oh, shoot, I can't show. We have one here in the house, but I can't really get it to show it to you. But it has been specifically designed again for the condition of osteoporosis. And Clint Rubin is the researcher. He operates under grants from NASA to try to solve the problem of osteoporosis in astronauts, because due to the lack of gravity, astronauts develop serious osteoporosis in space. And then when they come back to Earth, they start to have devastating fractures. So Miradyne, it's called, marrow for bone marrow and dyne for small force. It's a low intensity vibration, and it's designed, and its effect is to work on the mesenchymal stem cells in the bone marrow that will mature into either bone or fat, depending upon the forces placed upon them. So if you have a mechanical, this is a mechanical force, it's not an electrical force, at 30 cycles per second. You can't do that in your own body. You can't get 30 cycles per second yourself. And you use it, Dr. Rubin recommends at least 10 minutes a day, and he recommends breaking it up into at least 2 5-minute sessions. And so it's been, the research on it is wonderful on humans. He's done on women with osteoporosis and so on. You can go on his website and take a look at all his research. And if you want, you could actually somehow indicate, they usually websites have a way that you can contact the person there, or you can call him up or send him an email or go on something like that, and he will reply. He'll talk to you. Very nice guy, and also very smart. And that's the one I use and recommend. It has to do with a G-force. Now, in the gyms of America and in other places, they have something called a power plate. The power plate has been said to be safe for 30 seconds. You can stand on it and consider it safe. The Miradyne, you can stand on it up to 8 hours. It's a small force, but it's very, a fast vibration. I put when I'm on it, I always put my hand up here in the fontanelle, and I can feel the right up here.
Wow. That's great.
And the same thing with the Miradyne. If you want something with the Miradyne, they have to be 2 separate emails though, because they're different companies. So I forward, if you want the information on the Miradyne, send me that email with all that information, and I'll send it on to the Miradyne. And Ian will contact you.
That's great. Okay, take it away.
Okay, well, I have the list of questions here. This is one that I really wanted to, Laurel, I don't know if she's there or not. What about someone with osteoporosis who has multiple breaks as well as fragility fractures? Can it really be safe to exercise? Absolutely. Okay, but you better have all that background, know which bones are affected. Does this person have any other comorbidities or reasons not? I would not certainly start out with any aggressive exercise. I would start her out exactly like everybody else in decompression for beginners. Now, she may need more support if she's very fragile. And so that's where I would start with her. And then I also would probably have her in the spinal med, depending upon where the fractures are, but she's had several fractures. She's pretty fragile, so we want to protect her as much as possible. I also would work with her on body mechanics, teaching her how to move, like how to sit better. But I would definitely, if that person's had a lot of fractures, try to have her sit as little as possible and do the exercises. I used to be able to, when I first started on this, I would tell people to do the realignment routine 3 to 5 times a day. And I was able to get people that had never exercised in their life do that and love me for it, because it made their back feel better.
That's
You don't have to do it.
I know you've mentioned in the beginning, and I just want to bring this up again, that if any of us would like to have a physical therapist that's trained in the Meeks method,
Yes,
that we would also write you an email and tell you, tell you a little bit,
yes, and
and have a consultation with you.
that's right. So in the consultations I do, I've done as little as 15 minutes and as much as 3 hours. It's totally up to the person that I'm doing the consult. I don't tell them how long I can talk or anything, whatever. I usually schedule and leave my schedule because I have work to do after the consult too. A little bit, things that they want and a referral possibly and so on. So it can be short or long. And the information, if you contact me by email, I can send you the information on the consult, the price of it and everything. I think I keep my prices pretty reasonable. So, and it's, I can't believe some of the things people write back with and what kind of effect they've had. It's amazing. There is more you can do than take medication. That is for sure. But you have to be, you need to find somebody that's pretty well trained. And actually, I should tell you that the area of physical frailty is basically where I think that I can be of most help. I mean, I love to treat athletes too, but that's easy. They're already motivated.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Did you pick out anything else that?
Well, there are exercises, and I also have a list. What does Sarah have to say about exercises you should not do? Well, there are many of them, and I have a list. If you send me an email, you just want that list, I'll just send you that list. If you want to have more, then I can send you more. But I have a list of yoga, Pilates, and the gym of exercises that are safe, exercises that you should use caution, and exercises to avoid.
With that one, maybe you can send it to me and I'll pass it on.
Okay.
So you don't have to do, because we have quite a few people
All
in
right.
the group, and I'm a little worried you're going to get inundated.
And I should tell you that I designed the one for yoga because I'm a yoga instructor. I'm also, I used to be a competitive weightlifter. And somebody's got some question about lifting weights here, so I'm going to make some comment on that. And so I did that list, and then I had somebody else, Sherry Betts is her name. Maybe some of you have heard of her. She has the list for the Pilates. Because I wouldn't, I took some work in Pilates, but I couldn't possibly make a list like that. The yoga I can do a pretty good job.
Okay, and people are asking me for your email address.
J Harrison, Harrison. That's my husband's last name. And then the number 2. And don't forget the 2. That's what everybody forgets. So J Harrison 2 at Earthlink, Earth like the planet, earthlink.net, not .com, but .net. Someone asked about, is it okay to do it? I have no idea what a Tai Chi twist is, but I'll tell you this about twisting. Twisting is a sheer force. And in yoga, they do a lot of twisting in seated position. So you're sitting in the position of most compression, and then you do a twist, which is where your bone is weakest. Not a good idea. So what I do is I start to teach people twisting when they're lying on their back or on their side in positions of less compression. And I also teach them to do it using the muscles of the back that do the twisting. But most twisting, somebody just swings their arm or swings their legs, and that's all passive for the back. And that can get you into trouble. But if you want to use the muscles of your back to do the twist, and you don't have any compression in your back, you don't have any fractures or anything like that. If you've been diagnosed with osteoporosis and you have normal height of your vertebrae, you can learn to do that. And I do in my, I used to anyway, when I was traveling and teaching, I had a level 2 course, and we used to do a series called the Mermaid in yoga, not in Pilates, but in yoga. And if you go on my website, which is Sara, S-A-R-A, no H, Meeks, PT as in physicaltherapist.com, and you go on the homepage and then you scroll down, you'll see a bunch of videos in the news section. And I have a video of me doing the mermaid, lying on the floor and doing the mermaid. So if you want to know about that, that's where you can go to take a look at it. Yeah, that's a twist, but I don't know what a Tai Chi twist is, so maybe that person can send me an email, we can discuss it. I've never done Tai Chi, so. Oh, the crunch here, Steffi, I got to do this.
Yes.
Okay. Can I read the question? Is she
Yes,
on?
please.
Steffi here? Huh?
She's not, I don't think she's on tonight, which is
Oh,
strange.
dear.
Yeah.
Well,
Some of the people listen to the
she would in
recording.
the limelight here, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
I know that this is what she says. I know that we are not supposed to crunch. You all know what she's talking about, right? The abdominal crunch. Every time I think of the word crunch, I think, oh my God. Anyway, I just started working with a trainer. He put a small block about 4 inches high against the wall. I wanted me to put my heels on it. So I'm assuming that her back was to the wall with a 4-inch lift like that, elongating my spine and then to crunch. I balked and said I'd look into it. Sarah's the expert. Please ask her to weigh in on this. Well, it's a flexion motion. And if she's standing against the wall with her back to the wall and she bends forward, it's gravity assisted. That is probably more dangerous than gravity resisted, because for gravity resist for anything, you have to, you have to work harder. Okay. So this is the way I would say this is not any safer than any other position. So I don't know exactly what but I would not do it. Especially, I wouldn't suggest I don't know her. I don't know what other conditions she has. And remember, that was the first thing, the clinical condition of the patient or the person that comes to see me, I need to know. And if anybody of you want to have a consult, what I do is I send you what's called a pre-assessment form, and you give me some history on yourself. All related to osteoporosis, of course. I'm not, I don't go into a lot of other details. But let's see, I wanted to show you how to start with an abdominal exercise. Anybody want to know? Who wants to know? Raise your hand. Oh, good. Well, those hands are. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So come out to the edge of your chair and get in your perch posture. So you're sitting tall. All right. You don't have to stand. Take your hands and place your hands. One hand, I guess you can't see me from there. Hang on a second, see if I can change this a little bit. This is a little different view than I had when I was talking to you earlier, Shelley. Okay, so I'm going to place my hand right on my navel, right here. Okay, place your hand on your navel, or possibly just below, but not above. So right on the navel, okay? And then take your other hand and place it around in your back so you can feel the curve in your lower back, okay? All right. Now you're going to use your back hand to monitor your lower back. In other words, you're not going to let the lower back move. You're not going to tilt your pelvis or anything like that. Take a breath in and pull your navel away from your hand. Tighten your abdominal muscles. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Make sure you monitor your back so that you're not moving the back. Okay, breath in and pull the navel in. 1, 2, 3, and relax. So the idea is to contract your abdominals without moving the lower back. It's called an isometric exercise. It is easiest to do when you're lying on your back, because lying on your back will be gravity assist. right? So that's the first abdominal exercise I usually give people. If you want to lie, if you lie on your back and you can't get your hand under there, what you can do is you can get yourself, and you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or someplace like that, and you buy yourself a 1-inch diameter dowel. Now you're probably going to have to get a 3-footer and have them cut it in 3. It's the best to use just a 12-inch dowel. You place it under your back, you feel the pressure on the dowel, and as you contract your abdominals, you keep the pressure the same. So you're not moving your back. You're getting all the movement in the abdominals. Now, I will tell you something. I am making a series of videos with Bob and Brad. And the last one I made was a series of abdominal exercises, beginning with that one. But there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So once that video comes out, and if you can't connect me, you will automatically go on an email list. Anybody that, that I send information to, I usually put on the list. And as soon as these videos start coming out, you'll get a notice. I'm making about 50 videos of my work, and that included those abdominal exercises. No crunches. And also, here's something to back it up. There was a research study. Now, if you want an antique research study, here's one, 1990. I forget the names of the researchers. They did, they looked at 8 different abdominal exercises, including the abdominal crunch and several other ones. And the one that came out on the bottom for strengthening the abdominals, are you ready? The abdominal crunch. It does not strengthen your abdominals compared to the other ones. Now, if you want to know what was the number one, you'd have to probably call me up or something. You want to know? Yeah, it's a little difficult to describe, without doing it. Yeah, first of all, you have to be able to do bridging and hold it. And you have to be in good form. And I have a special way of teaching bridging too. It's different than what you usually get. In my bridge, you do 1 rep and hold it as you breathe, yogic breathing. And then for the abdominal, what you do is you come up into the bridge. And then what you do is it's called pulsing. You pulse your pubic bone up toward the ceiling, hold it, and relax. And you repeat that about 4 times. And then you pulse the side of your pelvis up to get the obliques. And then you do the whole thing. You do the whole thing. And I use the formula 3, 5, or 8 reps. That's all I give. If you want to do more than that, just go back and do another set. Because what I've noticed, I've been the fly on the wall and everywhere. I traveled all around the globe, and everywhere we went to the local gym. And we would watch people doing exercises. And I would notice how many repetitions they were doing. And by the time they get to about 6 or 8, they're losing form. They're not doing the exercise. So I figured 8 was enough. So I do 8. And then if I want to do more, I go back and do another set of 8. And then once I get to 8 and I'm using weight, then I may increase the weight. But that 8 reps is what I do. And I was a competitive weightlifter in Olympic style weightlifting. So, somebody wanted to know about that. That's what I would recommend, that you take a look at that. You can find anything on the internet, and it's Olympic style weightlifting. And you have to be in good alignment to lift those weights. You have to be.
That's great.
They've done studies on it. That's lifting a barbell from the platform overhead. You ever watch the Olympics? Yeah. Anybody watch the weightlifting Olympics? Yeah. It's not the most popular one, but you watch some of these guys and girls. There's women in it now.
It's amazing. Yeah. Well, if you finished all the questions.
Oh, no.
No?
Let's see.
Okay.
Let me just see. This a gal also wanted to know about providing a list of key basic, well, you're going to get the realignment routine, that's where everybody starts. And that, now it looks simple. Well, it can look simple in the picture. My directions are very specific. So if you have somebody that can read you the direction and then you do the exercise, you'll learn it more quickly, okay? Or when my videos come out, and I know that Bob and Brad now have 4 of the videos, so, and that's in the first 4. I think it's the 3rd video, I'm not sure. That the realignment routine targets your main postural stability muscle, which is your lower, it was not your lower, it's your back extensors. Those are the most important muscles to strengthen for osteoporosis, because that's where most fractures occur. Okay, so the realignment routine would be where to start. No. Let's see. Let me see. Okay, we sent that one. It's the person, Jane. I don't know who this is either. If you want to know more about weightlifting, please contact me, because that was my basic love of sport. I just love to do that. And maybe, well, okay. We did the alignment for posture. Any questions on that? Yeah, somebody wrote here, Claire, about using a lot of stretch and flexibility for many years. I focus on stability first, strengthening and then lengthening, stability and then flexibility, because I found no matter what the age of the person, that when I do a good assessment of them, the first thing they need is more stability, not more flexibility.
Yeah.
So that's how my program starts. I mean, there's lots of places that I have to stretch, don't get me wrong there, but we get the stability first.
Yeah.
Sarah?
Yes.
Early on, when you talked about alignment sitting, you mentioned that as we get older, we lose adduction or abduction of our hip joints. Do you remember saying that?
We lose internal rotation.
Oh, internal rotation. So we should focus on that rather than like.
I would.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Thank you.
We go, and in the arms, it's just the opposite. We lose, let me stand up a little bit here. We lose this is external rotation of the shoulder. This is internal rotation. Most of our chores that we do every day, our arms are internally rotated. And so as we get older, we lose external rotation. In the hips, it's just the opposite. We lose internal and we have more external. You'll see people walking with their toes out to the side, turning their legs out. Don't you? I mean, I see them everywhere. I used to travel. I used to see them in the airports.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But the arms, we want to, that's why when you do decompression, you bring your arms out, you turn your palms up, you've got external rotation of the shoulders.
So that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why you recommend walking pigeon-toed, right?
Well, not pigeon-toed, but
well, I mean, exercising, not
heel toe. Get the feet straight if you can.
Yeah.
But they'll usually, if they'll do anything, they'll usually turn out. It's unusual if somebody's turning in the foot. That's a pathological. They're probably born with it. But that's just what happens, because but especially with the arms, because if you think about the position of your arms, every time you're washing the dishes, you're combing your hair, whatever you're doing, your arms are turned in. Mm-hmm. Writing, computer. How often do we do with our arms out? Not very often, except in my exercise program.
I have one more question. Going back from the years when I took the courses from you, is why is sitting put more pressure on your vertebrae than standing? Is it just
because for every action there's an equal and opposite. So when you're sitting on the seat, you have your body weight moving down and it's being matched by a force coming up. Okay, that's the Newton's third law of physics. And then you also have the force of gravity coming down on top of your head. So you have a net compression in the spine. And this is in the research.
But why? I still don't understand why, if you're standing, aren't those same forces applicable?
Well, it's a little less than sitting. And I think it's because that now the force, that's an interesting question, because when you stand, that is the second position of most compression, because it goes from sitting to standing. And then it goes, well, I usually go the other way around. Let me go. The position of least compression is lying on your back. Okay? The next least is side lying, either side. I usually do both sides. The next position is prone. That's lying on your abdomen. The next after that, we're going up in compression, is hands and knees, then kneeling, then standing, then sitting.
So would you recommend that we try to sleep on our sides?
Well, I can't really say, that I would, because a lot of people, when they sleep on their side, they kind of curl up in a little ball. See, we don't want to do that. I recommend, this is what I do. See, what's going to happen when you sleep? Your body's going to decide which way you're going to sleep anyway, most of the time. I usually start out on my back. I think that's the way to start. And then I'll ask people, well, how do you sleep? Let's say they say, well, I like to sleep on my right side. I said, well, okay. Well, do you ever sleep on your left side? And she says, no, because I don't like sleeping. I like sleeping on my right side. I said, well, how about you try it? So she tried it. She comes back and she says, well, I tried on my left side, but I wake up and I'm on my right side. Because see, the body's so used to being on the right side, it just turns over in her sleep. She doesn't even know it. She just wakes up and she's on her right side. I said, well, just keep it up, because the whole idea is not to get stuck in your patterns. Because as you get older, if you're stuck in your patterns, you can't go visit your friend, because you always have to sit in the same chair. You always have to get out of the bed at the same time. You have to do this just the way you've always done it. So I don't really recommend. Specifically, the only one I would recommend that would be the safest would be on your back with a small pillow and maybe something under your knees. And maybe also what might help is something under your arms, like a small pillow under your elbows, something like that, to take the pressure off your neck.
That's really good.
It's what?
That's very good. I know Tish had a question about alignment that you spoke about earlier. Tish, did you want to ask that question now?
Yes, Sarah. You were explaining the realignment routine, and I didn't quite follow everything that you were doing. If you could
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't quite follow what you were telling us to do.
I think it was with the foot. I think it was when you were explaining how to stand on your heel. Wasn't it then, Tish?
No, she said, no, that's not the realignment routine.
Oh.
That was the other question. Yeah, that was.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Well, I think when you get the realignment routine document that she's going to send you, take a look at that. I know, because that is just a quick look at the different positions, and the muscles that you're getting are all the muscles that are important for stability. And lying on the back, I always start people in the position of least compression.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
I think, and if that is not enough, send me an email and tell me your name and you were here. And if there's a specific thing you don't understand about that, I'd be happy to help you out.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Okay, I saw another hand.
Is that you, Claire? did you have a question? No? Okay. Did anyone else want to say anything before Amy does? Amy, did you want to unmute?
Hi, Sarah. Thanks, Shelley. My question, and I'm not sure this is really appropriate question, you can tell me, but I have a lot of pain. I have the worst pain, back pain is the facet arthropathy. And I have severe osteoporosis as well. And I'm not sure what exercises would be the safest to do. I know probably what would be good to do, but I don't think they're safest. So I'm not sure. I've been doing pelvic tilts and also stretching my knees to my chest, which I think.
Oh my goodness, no. Oh,
No, I
oh.
stopped doing it. I stopped doing that.
Yeah, okay.
So I haven't had a fracture that I know of in my back. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know really what's safe. And I don't know if that's too lengthy or too specific for the group to ask you that now, or.
Well, the safest one is to lie on your back.
Yeah, but what can I do for the pain in terms of stretching out that, the facets?
Stretching out what?
Stretching the facets out.
Well, just, first of all, depending if I, I can't really see you, so I can't really,
Oh,
uh,
is there some way?
it might not be specific to you, but lying on your back on the firmest surface that you can tolerate will help to lengthen out your back, including your facet joints. I'm not sure if this whole group knows what they are, but you probably do. Sounds like you do anyway.
Yeah.
Facet joints. And it also, here's the other thing that it does. It allows the discs between the vertebrae to rehydrate. So in the morning, they are taller than they are at the end of the day if you've been doing a lot of sitting. A lot of disc problems are coming from too much compression and sitting, particularly people sitting at computers all day. Lying on your back will allow those discs to rehydrate. There's no circulation in the disc. It's like a sponge, and that will take some of the pressure off. And then what you do, if you either bend your hips and knees or put your feet up on the sofa. Now, when you put the feet up on the sofa, your lower back is going to bend a little bit. It has to. But so it's better to put something underneath your knees when you're lying straight out.
I have a wedge. Yeah, I have a wedge.
Oh, you're using a wedge.
Well, I have it sometimes if the pain's really, really bad, I use it.
What, you mean you lift your head?
No, it's a wedge for under my knees.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that would help. The whole idea with the decompression exercise of the realignment routine is to allow the back to relax and find its own neutral position. That's what it does. I mean, I've had people start out just lying on their back and they're not able to do any of those other exercises in decompression. Just lie on the back and they get off the bed and they're taller. Just by lying on their back. That's the safest one I can, without knowing any more about you,
Right, right.
The other, you're gonna, this is kind of a joke, but I'm not making fun of you or anything, but I just read another, what's it called? Don, what is this thing called? The back attraction table where you go upside down,
Oh, the tilt table,
yeah, but it's not a tilt table. It's okay. But anyway, if your feet are up and your head is down at about a 15-degree angle, that will also rehydrate your discs. But of course, just lying on your back is where you want to start, because if you're having that kind of back pain, that's what you want to start. Now, the exercise called the leg press, okay, because what I have found is most lower back pain is due to tightness in the hips, and particularly the hip flexors, the ones that bring your knees to your chest, as you said. They're probably very tight. And if you straighten out your legs, you'll get more of a curve in your lower back because those muscles are pulling. So that's why I have people put something under their knees or their feet up on the sofa or something like that to relieve the pressure of the hip flexors and also the hamstrings behind the knee on the back. We want to isolate the back and let the back completely relax. You lie 5 to 15 minutes. No reading, no TV, no kids, no cats, no dogs, no texting, no tweeting, just lie and relax.
Well, you tell the cat to leave me alone. That'll be fine. She loves the
You
exercise.
sound like my husband. My husband lies down on our treatment table, and one of our cats, Archie, she knows when he's going to do that, and she comes right up and she's right here on his chest.
Yeah, my cat just loves that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Well, you may
know,
have to, sometimes we put her in the bedroom so John can relax.
Well, I want to thank you, Sara, because I know we kept you on here an awfully long time with all of our questions, and we even have more questions, but maybe we'll be able to welcome you back sometime. And I just
Okay.
want to say how grateful we all are. I've gotten so many even texts and emails already from people that had to leave. And
Okay.
I just want to say we're so grateful for your time tonight.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. The more word we